Hello and welcome to the Zach Ratliff Show. I'm Zach. Today is Monday, July 28th. I'm glad to be with you. Glad you're with me. Let's get this started by thanking our sponsors. I'd like to thank Mortgage Financial. I've been off for a week. Give me a second. I'd like to thank Mortgage Financial here in Texarkana. I'd like to thank Elmwood Custom Goods, and I'd like to thank Church on the Rock, Texarkana. That's churchontherock.org. Without those three groups, this podcast wouldn't be possible in the format that you see it, and so I appreciate them more than words can explain. So thank you for that, and thank you for some of the private sponsors that have that are unnamed, that have helped pay for advertising and other things to get this thing going. And so, anyway, thank you all. I'm deeply thankful. Anyway, all right, let's get going. I've been on vacation for a week. And look, I'm not going to lie. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. I'll give you a little vacation recap here, and then we'll get into what's going on in the world. I'm going to admit, it was my daughter and I, who she's 9, so we didn't watch a lot of news. I didn't read much news, which is rare. That's kind of my escape, is reading the news. It doesn't scare me. It doesn't worry me, and so I'm not one to get anxious about it. I enjoy reading. I enjoy watching the way, but I just didn't do that over the past week. We went on a trip. We did our stuff. So we went to the Country Music Hall of Fame in Nashville, Tennessee, and we stayed there a couple of nights, not at the Hall of Fame, but in Nashville. Then we went on up to Dry Ridge, Kentucky, and checked out the Ark exhibit. It's a replica of what they believe Noah's Ark looked like. It's made to the biblical dimensions that are given, so the size of it is the same. And let me just say, it is massive. If you're a believer, or if you're not, if you just want to go see a big giant boat, but I hold the Bible as truth. So I believe that an ark did exist. I believe that God did punish the world through that, and I believe that He saved the world through Noah, and so I hold that belief as true. And so to go, and I knew it was going to be big, right? And because I'd read it's a 5-story building, but I just didn't understand. I didn't understand the gravity of how big it was, just how massive. And then look, it's set up pretty neat inside. There are ramps that go back and forth through it, and it's miles of walking by the time you go across the whole complex. And they have a zoo. My daughter got to ride a camel, which is awesome. But just the setup was okay. You start at the base level of the ship at the bottom. This is where the storage is, and then you work up, and it works through the animals, and it tells you, the creation story somewhat, and then it tells you why there had to be a flood and what happened, and then one of the coolest things I saw was a timeline using the Bible, showing the dates and the length of time that people were alive. So like Methuselah, who is the longest man to ever live, he knew both Adam and Noah. And then if you looked at it, Adam would have been Noah's grandfather or great-grandfather, and I wasn't sure on that, just looking at the way it broke off on the family tree. Well, when you wonder how all these stories were passed over time, things that your dad told you about your grandpa, and you know them to be true. Much less, having the inspiration of God behind it. I know these stories, and some of them definitely weren't inspired by God about my family. So to know that, all of a sudden it makes sense. You've got 2,000 years worth of information in one guy, right? That he knows these things, and he can spread these oral traditions and oral stories, just like you can do for a generation or two about your own family. And at that point, it made the Bible a lot, I want to say small, but there's nothing small about it, but a lot closer together, a lot easier to say, okay, here, them saying this is what happened. Well, they talked to the guy that did it. There wasn't Adam and then 100 generations and then Noah. That's not the way it worked. So anyway, seeing that timeline, seeing that map was amazing, and that was pretty cool. Now, the Country Music Hall of Fame was awesome. My daughter enjoyed the Taylor Swift stuff, and I got to see Elvis's car. I've done the Memphis thing before, been to Graceland, done all that. But, got to see Elvis's car, had a TV and a phone in it, in the 70s, which pretty wild. And so, just getting to do that. But the number one thing that I'm grateful for, and I thank God for it, is the time getting to spend with my daughter, of me not working, of me not taking calls, of us just being father and daughter, and just going. We stayed in 3 different hotels over 6 days, and just had a blast. And, of course, we drove over 1,580 miles in those 6 days, and I think it logged almost 27 hours of engine time on the truck. Of course, that's idling and everything else. We had a blast. And I encourage you to look, and I understand financially it's not always possible. Golly, take time. Take time to enjoy it. Now, I got a mountain of work today, and that's okay. Thank God for it. But golly, it was refreshing. So we hit Arkansas, Tennessee, Kentucky, Missouri, and Texas on our tour, and it was a pretty good loop. And let me tell you, up on I-55 past Blytheville, Arkansas, the Mississippi River is wide. I mean, it's wide at Memphis where I've been across it, but it's wide up top. And so Kentucky was beautiful. I did not hear any banjos, but that being said, it's man, I just enjoy it, and I thank God for it. And so, anyway, we'll move on. But thank you all for being back, like I said, and I enjoyed my week. Okay, let's jump into it. This is as of Thursday, and so I kind of went back, kind of picked some articles. God, so much happened. So much happened in the last week. If I had a little button that had a horn on it, I'd be like, I told you so on some of it. But if you're a regular fan of the show or listener of the show, or not fan, but you listen to send me nasty text messages, that's okay too, because we're going to get into it. And some of this stuff, you'll have heard me say that it was going to happen. Okay, Thursday, Fox News. Well, and sometime in there, I saw it on Thursday night once my daughter was asleep. I texted to myself. Fox News. Now, this is about Tulsi Gabbard. Now, let's remember who Tulsi was. The star of the Democrat Party. The vice chairman of the Democrat Party of the United States. She was an up and riser because she was socially liberal and then militarily conservative and somewhat fiscally conservative. She was on the rise, except for the party left her. She didn't leave the party. They went so far left, she couldn't, from Hawaii, which is much more liberal than Northeast Texas, right? But, and even then, I'm like, some of her stuff I could get behind because I think she's handling it the right way. But the Democrat Party went so far left, they left her, just like they left Rogan, just like they left Elon Musk. These people didn't leave the party. These people still have their same views. The party left them. And that's one thing we have to remember when we talk about they left the Democrat. No, the Democrat Party left them. Just like the Republican Party, honestly, tries to leave conservatives. Right? The Republican Party tries to go left all the time. Luckily, there are those of us that will put them in check and call them the cowards that they are. So the party left Tulsi Gabbard. Well, anyway, she comes out and lays out the stuff behind Russiagate and how the coup against Donald Trump was real and how Obama was involved and Hillary Clinton was involved and James Clapper and John Brennan and all of these people, how they were involved. And she lays, and there's supposed to be more evidence coming out today. Now, do I think you'll see Barack Obama and Hillary go to jail? No. Anyone under them? Well, I don't think you'll see Barack Obama go to jail, and I don't think you'll see Hillary go to jail. I know I just said that, but I just had to retrain my thoughts here. That being said, I think some high levels, but under them, there's, and look, we'll see. We'll see if it's just all bluster. Maybe it's just the carrot to keep this old horse dragging the cart. And I know that's what we all feel, and it's just exhausting because it just keeps happening, just keeps happening, just keeps happening. Donald Trump's only been there again for 6 months. We have to remember that, and we have to remember when he left last time after his first administration. And I don't know. You can probably do a quick internet search or not. I mean, it might be a lengthy internet search and find it where he said it was so much worse once he got in there than what he realized. He knew he was going to have to tackle all these things. He got in the first time and thought, hey, I'm a deal maker. I'll be able to shake loose. All these are good people. They're just misguided. And then he got in there and was like, oh, this is evil up here. This is a power center unlike anything I've ever done. And I don't know if that's what he's thought. I'm not in his mind, and I'm not invited to the meetings. But I think that's what happened. So now he's been very strategic about the way he's handling all this. So we gotta have some patience. In the world where you're supposed to be able to text your doctor at midnight and be mad if they don't respond by 12:15, that's not the way it works. Right? That's not where we are. Let this play out. And on the Epstein thing, is the media and the rhinos of the party, are they trying to tear us apart? Yes, they need us to be crazy. They need us to not trust Donald Trump. They need us to not trust the administration. They need us to discredit the person we put in place. That's the goal of this. They want us as conservatives to discredit the administration so that then the liberals can say, oh, look, even his base turned on him. Oh, look, even they don't believe him. That's what's happening here. Or is being attempted. But we can't do it. We have to let everything. And then Bongino comes out and he says, this is so disgusting. I can't tell you, but it's come. We have to trust these guys. You think, look, honestly, Tulsi Gabbard has put her life in danger by saying all that she said about the coup against Donald Trump. And it's been reported, and I don't know that she said this because I hadn't had time to look it up, but it's been reported that she's even tying some of these officials to the assassination attempts. If you know someone's tried to kill someone and you out them nationally, do you not think they'll come after you? 100% they will. It's an amazing thing. So, sorry, I saw my computer kind of glitch there. So, she's put her life on the line. We know that she has. And now we just have to hope everything plays out. And even beyond hope, we have to pray to the God Almighty that He doesn't end our nation, but He saves it. And saving it a lot of times is not pretty from a biblically historical perspective. Just in case you were wondering. But we have to want to represent Him. We have to apologize for what we've done and the sins we've personally committed and the sins we've allowed as a nation. And then we have to trust Him. And now, does that mean Donald Trump's going to do everything right? Absolutely not. But I'm agreeing with a lot of what's happening right now, no matter what the media tells me to believe, no matter what they say I should think. All right, let's keep going. Then we get to the Supreme Court last week. Looks like they cleared the way for Donald Trump to start removing some of these commissioners off of some of these organizations inside the executive level of government. Good. He's the president. This man is just stacking up win after win after win in the court. This is why they have to derail us with Epstein. This is why they can't let us know the traction that Donald Trump is getting, because the wins are adding up. Do you remember the first time when he said we'd get tired of winning? I'm not tired of it, but this is what he was talking about. We have to let the process play. And look, he got checkmated on the first one. There's a plan here, and everybody keeps saying, oh, this is great conspiracy. It's not a conspiracy. He's thought about this for 4 years on what's going to happen, and it's showing up and it's being true. And then it's like, well, I saw as I was going back through news articles, there's still no trade deal with the EU, no trade deal with the EU. Then boom, what happens either yesterday or Saturday? A massive EU trade deal comes out where all the goods that come from Europe coming in are going to get a 15% tariff. Our stuff's going over there. They're going to allow our cars and everything without these 100% tariffs they've had. This is huge for us because there's so much money in Europe that they can now buy our goods. This is great. Not only that, they're going to buy $750 billion of energy from us. That's $750 billion most likely out of the pockets of Russia and things like that. Get your energy from us. Let's do this. This is good for, I would call them a nation, but the group of nations and our nation. These are the wins Donald Trump talked about. And then on top of that $750 billion, there's going to be $600 worth of investments into the U.S., and they're going to buy military supplies for us. Good. And that's kind of the thing about the Ukraine. If you're that worried about it, go do it. Don't make us give it to you. Don't expect us to give it to you. We work hard every week. We pay our taxes. And if we don't, they take our taxes from us, honestly. But if you're going to buy our stuff and we're going to profit from it, hey, rock and roll, baby. This is the life that we live. We don't need to be the world's babysitter. They can come buy stuff from us, and they can treat us fairly. And I know, and I even told my daughter over vacation, she said, well, that's not fair. I said, well, life's not fair. And I get it. It's not. But we don't have to put up with it. We are the big dog. We eat first. We're king of the mountain. However you want to put it, that's to stay there. It's our job to keep it that way. So, that's a big deal. So this trade deal is huge. And then I look out and I see, okay, what else is going on? What else is happening? Well, there are these, all these nominations that haven't been pushed through. Oh, did you see this thing in New Jersey about, what's her name, Alina Habba, maybe? Anyway, where the liberals up there weren't going to let her be interim U.S. Attorney. So anyway, then whatever it is, they pull her nominations and they come back and reappoint her. I mean, it's just great moves. I don't have the story, but golly, it's just great moves that all this keeps happening. Anyway, so then I look, there are all these nominations out there that the Senate's not approving. Because like I said, John Thune, he's just like John Cornyn. They're only with us when we don't need them. But trying to look good. So then we've got, golly, what's his name? I've been out of it so long. The Speaker of the House, and he's coming out, and they're gonna take their August vacation, which is a joke. Do you know why there's an August vacation for the Congress? Because Washington, D.C. is built in a swamp. And so at some point, it would get hot and humid, and there was no air conditioning. So everyone went home so they wouldn't dehydrate, so they wouldn't die of heat exhaustion. You don't need an August recess now. You've got air conditioners. It's just ridiculous. Do you get an August recess at your work? No? Well, these folks do. Well, that's so we can go home and talk. No, it isn't. Let me just derail here for a second. The best thing we could do with all this technology that we have is put in secure systems where every representative stays in their home district. That way, when they do something stupid, we can come knock on the door. Hey, it's Zach. Why'd you do that? That was stupid as hell. Well, I don't agree with that. But instead, we've got lobbyists and yes men running the show in Washington, D.C., and these guys never come home. Oh, they come home for break because they get an August recess? No, you need to be working every day. Oh, we are working out. Yeah, if you were here in town or like our guys in Tyler, you would be responsive. And by all means, actually, the representative for my district, Nathaniel Moran, I've met him multiple times. Seems to be a good guy. So I'm not necessarily talking. I'm just using him as an example. But anyway, so we've got these recess nominations. They've got the August break, but they're going to gavel in one chamber or the other every day or two in order so that Donald Trump can't do recess appointments. Why are we sabotaging our own party? Because the Republicans are cowards. The Republicans don't have the balls enough to stand up and win. And so that's the thing. Donald Trump and his plan and his administration would be so much more successful if we didn't self-sabotage. But we do, and it's ridiculous. And we keep voting for these jokers. We keep letting them in. I just don't understand how we're okay with it. But time after time, they say the right things, or they're going to, we won't let them close your army base, and we won't let them do this, and we won't let them. Look, we have to get real. Go to Washington, do your job. Don't come home for a month to screw around with your mistress or whatever they do. I don't know. I'm not saying they all do that, but what I'm saying is go to work. Get these appointed. We elected you for a reason. And this is why Republicans can't maintain power, because we can't trust them either. Democrats, when Democrats are in control, look, I agree with almost nothing that the Democrat Party stands for, except for the fact that when they're in control, they run things. If Democrats were in power, they're going to shove everything they can down your throat. And if you don't like it, that's too bad, because they're in power. But when Republicans in power, we need to be bipartisan, and we need to be nice. We need to pat everybody on their little hiney and tell them it's going to be okay. But Democrats are going to shove it down your throat time and time again, and you're just going to take it. And there's nothing you can do about it. Republicans need to learn how to win. And that's what Donald Trump was saying when you get tired of winning back a few years ago. You have to learn how to win. You have to have that killer instinct. You have to have that go get 'em. It's just a wild thing to me. I just don't understand it. Anyway, all that said, they're not going to approve any of these nominees because they're going to go to break. But they're not really going to go to break so that Donald Trump can't make recess appointments, because they want to sabotage him, because it's a uniparty system, because we're post-constitutional, because the theys, the thems, the ruling class believe that they have their thumb on us, and they're just wearing us out. We're already bringing in billions of dollars of tariff income. In the next 5 years, I saw it written that we could do away with income tax because of all the tariffs that are going to come in. Why do we even have income tax if they're just printing money and making it up anyway? It's all about controlling you. It's all about controlling me. Let's have no doubt. Our legislators hate the fact that we have a constitution. Our judges hate the fact that we have a constitution. That's the truth of it. So that's why they go on break without going on break. That's why they do all these things, so that they can control you. I mean, it's just that easy. All these regulations. Speaking of regulations, did you see what Doge has going? It hasn't gone away. Doge has built an AI for the government that could cut 50% of the regulations. They're already running thousands of lines of regulations through it. It's already being effective inside certain departments. This is what we need. Let's get rid of the bureaucracy. Let's get rid of the junk. Let this AI go in, find what we don't need, bring it to light. Let's get rid of it. Let's make it easier to do business. Let's make it easier to live. Let's make it easier to prosper. I don't know why that concept is so foreign, except for I guess once you get in power, you just want to keep it. Let's let AI do its thing. Let's let AI be, and you got to be programmed by the right people. I'm not saying that. But go into the code. Let's deregulate. Let's get back to the land of the free. Let's get back to having opportunity. The American dream. That's what we need. We need the American dream to be alive and well. And if we could get all of these losers out of the way and get them to actually do something, we could do that. It's not a Democrat thing or Republican thing. It's a people that want to control you thing. It's just wild. All right. I've talked about it a couple times. The Epstein stuff. It's still there. I still think Trump wanted them to put so much pressure on him about the Epstein thing. I still think this is a setup. And now we see the DOJ going in to interview Maxwell. And she's reportedly given hundreds of names. She knows them. She is the black book. She is the file. Now, can you trust her? I don't know. She's also a pedophile. Can you believe anything she says? I'm sure some of it's truthful. Is she also going to do whatever she can to get a better treatment? Yeah. She got 20 years. What was that, in 2015? So she's, yeah, I mean, if that's the case, she got 10 left. She's on a downhill slide, really. I mean, she's teaching yoga in prison. I'm sure she'd rather not be teaching yoga in prison. So, you know, what's the there? Anyway, I'm interested. I think this is all part of it. I think Donald Trump wanted them to beg for it. Just like, you know, even on this Obama stuff that Tulsi came out with, the raid on Mar-a-Lago, it's looking a lot like they were looking for these files that proved what Tulsi's saying, the Biden administration, to get rid of them. It's just wild. We're living in the Wild West, man. It's lawless. We're post-constitutional. Okay, now this, from the New York Times. A Democratic congressman wants cognitive standards for members of Congress now that she's served a term in the Congress. What does that tell you? Well, we know, and what was it, 2 or 3 years ago, I read an article by a pharmacist for Congress people, and they're like, if you knew the meds we were giving these people, you would not trust anything they do. Joke's on you, sir. I don't trust anything they do anyway. That being said, cognitive standards, and Congress is mad about it. How could you do this? Yeah, because like the one guy that thought if you went to one side of the island, it would flip over. I don't remember who it was. Democrat, obviously. But look, we've got some idiots that are Republicans too. Don't get me wrong. You know, I mean, you've got your idiots up there. Well, you've got your idiots anywhere you do. Some people think I'm an idiot, and that's okay. You're allowed to think that. It's America. However, I need you to be at least pass a cognitive test to be able to do a job that you're elected to do. So I'm interested to see this won't be talked about much, and it surely won't pass because the Republicans, once again, are too and she entered it as a bill. The Republicans should take this up, say, hey, this Democrat did it. This has bipartisan support, and we're going to pass it. We're going to start holding people cognitively responsible and make sure you're able to do your job. Being that it was introduced by a Democrat, the Republicans should jump all over it, pass it, and then say this passes with bipartisan support, and now everybody has to make sure they're mentally capable of doing this job. They won't. They're afraid of it. They'll probably the Democrats will probably primary this woman and have someone else come in because no one wants to be held accountable. Okay. That's where we are, ladies and gentlemen. That's your Monday update. We'll be back. We'll do it all again tomorrow. I hope God blesses each and every one of you, and talk to you tomorrow.